Our group decided to focus on the strategy of leadership, specifically these three elements of leadership: strategic vision, decision making, and leading the people. Each of us has had unique experiences relating to each topic, and hopefully we can provide some useful insight to you.
Alright, strategic vision serves as a unifying focal point for everyone in the organization, so we are all rowing in the same direction. So I had to chuckle a little bit when we got together with our group and decided to break out topics for our presentation. And mine ended up to be discussing the corporate vision, or strategic vision in this circumstance, as I utilize this topic in my interviews with staff and personnel that apply for jobs at Utah State quite frequently. One of the questions that I usually ask is, do you know the corporate vision statement for USU facilities? And after a little hemming and hawing, usually they admit that they haven't done much research into the group, and I describe what that is. The vision statement for USU facilities is to pursue excellence in all facilities related roles. When I describe this to a candidate applying for a job in facilities, they usually have one of two responses. They understood what I've talked about and understand that this is just all of our team rowing in the same direction. Everybody's on board working together to make our students and our clients comfortable at Utah State. The other response is they don't understand this. They don't understand that we have a clientele. They just think they have a job. They're applying for a job. These are the people we generally don't want to include at our facilities.
Decision making. Decision making is crucial to any process, as any of us have been in that situation where you're with your spouse or your friends or whatever and you're trying to decide on a restaurant. It can be painful and we try to avoid it, but it's really important. Effective decisions are a combination of intuition and reasoning. Intuition, or your gut feeling, isn't some magical power that some are gifted with. It's based on our past experiences and our backgrounds. The phrase "go with your gut" can apply to effective, quick decisions. However, you need to be cautious and careful of your own feelings and biases. Reasoning is the process of making decisions using solely facts and figures. It can take time to work through, and it generally tries to leave emotion as much out of the equation as possible. Other elements that can drastically affect decision making are information, people, and emotion. If you have too much information, it can overcomplicate and slow down the decision-making process. Conversely, if you don't have enough information, you can make rash, uninformed choices. The amount of influence you allow others to have in your decision-making process is important. No input from anyone else can lead to selfish, nearsighted decisions, whereas too much input from too many sources can take you way off topic and slow things down dramatically. When seeking out influence, make sure the people you invite into your process have relevant experience and can help you stay on topic. Emotion is a difficult one. It's almost impossible to leave it out of the equation completely, and sometimes it's unwise to do so. A reasonable level of emotion can lead to quicker, more efficient decisions. However, too much involvement or being too close to the decision can lead to impulsive or uninformed choices. Balance in all things. I'm a small business owner and I'm involved in several different businesses. And what that means is that every decision, whether it be the type of toilet paper we use, or the suppliers we contact, the prices we charge, or the wages we pay, all of that comes back to me. And early on in my career as an entrepreneur, I took so much time making those choices. I would ask as many people as I could for input. I would try to do pros and cons lists, and although those have their place, I'm not saying that those are important, particularly for long-term decisions or more costly decisions. You have to have those. But I mean, I was doing that to try to figure out how many packs of Post-it note to buy. It really bogged me down. I mean, before I knew it, a whole day was gone and I hadn't made a single choice. What I found was that sometimes you just have to walk up to the ledge and jump. Sometimes even a decision that isn't the absolute best it could be is better than making no decision. Because if you don't make any decision, you haven't made any progress and you've wasted a ton of time. So in my experience, especially for things that aren't quite as long-term or aren't as financially impactful, sometimes a quicker decision is the best way to go. Just jump.
So the final key to successful leadership is in leading the people. Often leaders are distinguished from managers based on their interactions with people. Having a strategic vision and making the needed decisions to reach that vision only works when you have the support and trust of your people. This is not always an easy accomplishment and often requires a very talented leader. Fortunately, as supported in the article Discovering Your Authentic Leadership, there's no specific style or personality that's required to be an ideal leader. Leadership ability is a collection of skills and actions that are developed through experiences and practice over time. Authenticity. Authenticity is the ability to be honest with yourself and transparent with yourself and others about your motivations, your intentions, your desires. It's also about being true to your values and beliefs and consistent in your actions regardless of the situation or the company you're with. It's also being true to your style. By trying to emulate or be someone else or replicate someone else's style or experiences, you're going to miss out on strengthening and leveraging your own style, strengths and abilities, and waste too much time trying to be someone else instead of being yourself. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to receive and understand feedback or criticism. Oftentimes criticism comes as a negative. Instead, it should be used as an opportunity to see our weaknesses, learn from them, grow, and put away the fears, the insecurities that we may have, and develop into a better leader, a better person by receiving that feedback. People skills. People skills doesn't mean that you have to be the most charismatic, outgoing, socialite person in the room. There's no specific personality or style that's needed to be a great leader and have people skills. But all great leaders have really the ability to empathize, to understand people, to communicate with them, and to genuinely care about their interests so that they can connect with them, build relationships, and help motivate them by knowing the people. Although technical and the cognitive skills are important for a job, study after study has shown that these soft skills of emotional intelligence and people skills are just as important and far better indicators of successful leaders over time. So one of the best leaders I've ever worked for is my current boss, and he excels at authenticity. He is the most genuinely him, which sounds weird, but everyone in the company just knows Chris is Chris, and because of this, he's very good at his job, and he has a very specific skill set that is different than other people's, but rather than trying to adjust his skill set or adjust his personality to be more like the other people he works with, he utilizes that personality, that energy, and that passion that he has for some of the weirder things, and is very successful because of it. Again, he's just Chris is Chris, and because of that, he's the go-to guy for a lot of situations, and he's learned to excel with his style.